Hi guys, it's JQ Crafty, and happy birthday, Confessions of a Paper Addict. They turned 2 today. That's amazing. Congratulations, Virginia. Super excited to be part of the design team and to be a part of this amazing YouTube hop that's happening today. Make sure you check out everybody down below. Tons of people playing along with the awesome birthday cut files she created this month for her second birthday of her shop, Confessions of a Paper Addict. Etsy links will be down below, as well as the links to these cup files. Super, super exciting. I'm actually not going to scrap a birthday layout though, but I'm going to scrap a celebration layout. And this is an awesome photo of my son that we took for his kindergarten graduation. I've cut 2 of the cut files. I've cut the little penguin guy, he's so cute, out of black. And then I also cut the released balloons cut file. Let me get the official names for you, just in case. Escaping Balloons cut file out of black, and then the Party Critter is what he's called, but it's a cute little penguin. And what I did is I went ahead and did it in black, and then I backed this doing, I actually let the silhouette do the work for me. Yes, balloons are kind of an easy shape, but I wasn't going to have to back too much of the penguin, and you'll see I'm literally just going to use the black that's in here, and then I just have to do his nose, his feet, and his hat, and his belly. Like, those are easy shapes. And I wanted them all different colors. But I wanted all the balloons to be out of this paper from Field Trip. So I actually just did a offset and had them cut them all out for me. I made a boo-boo, though, and I was going to have this one get backed. But I did it, and then I resized this. So then whatever I did over here was already off. So, blah, my bad. But that won't be hard. That's just 3 balloons. That's not going to be a big deal. But anyway, so I already went ahead and cut that out and then backed them. And yeah, we are going to, I'm not really sure what background papers I'm going to use yet. I've got little fuzzies. I just changed my blade, but I had cut these out before I changed my blade on my silhouette. But yeah, otherwise I have an idea. I know what my layout's going to look like. I just don't have like little details figured out yet. And I know my title and everything. I'm super excited. I think it's going to be super cute. So yeah, let's get started. Oh, and before I do that, let me mention, I'll have a little thing at the end too, but there is the whole month of March pretty much, New Zealand time though. So right now, and then it'll end a little early for all of you in the US. But the 1st through the 31st of March, New Zealand time. So the 30th of March for the US, 30% off her entire Etsy shop, no coupon code required. So all those cut files that you've been wanting to get, go get them now. They're all 30% off, which is awesome. So yeah, once again, enjoy the hop. Happy birthday, Virginia, and Confessions of a Paper Addict, and let's get started. So I left backing the rest of the cut file in here for you so you guys can see the way I do it. So if I don't let my silhouette cut it, which I usually, if I can do that and I have the time to do that, I will do that. It just sometimes, depending on the cut file, is very finicky if there's lots of details. The balloons are relatively easy. There's only 2 layers. It was super simple. But yeah, when you do that in the silhouette, Virginia has a really good, I think, video about it. You delete the inside lines and then you do an offset internally, and then it cuts it just slightly bigger than what the hole would have been, if that makes sense. So if I don't do it that way, then I do it this way, or I do random chunks of paper in back and then trim off that. I do it different ways. But this is one way I like to do if I'm going to do a lot of different patterns, where I flip it over so I put it face down on the back of the paper that I'm going to use. Trace it so that way the penciled one isn't on the front if you accidentally, because you're tracing the inside or you can trace the outside. You can do either or. So the pencil mark's not on the front where your design's going to be. The pencil mark doesn't get on the front of your cut file because, let's face it, not everybody can always trace things perfectly, and if you can, bravo to you. I am not one of those people. And then thirdly, then I can make adjustments, I feel like, easier, because then if I'm tracing the inside of the cut file, so I trace the inside usually, because I'm better at overestimating how big to make it instead of underestimating. I guess it doesn't really matter because then you'd still have to trim. Either way, I especially like shapes like this, I like to trace the inside. So I did the balloons, which, no, I already forgot. Did I mention in the beginning? I actually had done the balloons with the penguin on my silhouette, but then I resized him, and I forgot that I resized him. And then I did his white belly, and now I'm using that yellow paper that I just had it hanging out on. I'm doing his feet and his beak. Oh my gosh, he's just so cute. And I was just going to leave his body the black, and I talked with my son. I asked him if I could make him glittery, and he said yes. So I was just going to cover him with a glitter pen. And then after I started backing him and doing all this, I was like, you know what? I think I still have that like old school notebook. There was a specific name for them. I can't think of it right now. But I think I still have some of the paper that's like that old notebook paper that's like marbled black and white. And so I start looking through them, and I stashed two, and I found this, and I was like, oh, this would be a good paper. And I wasn't really sure what background I wanted to use yet. I thought about doing a pattern, but then as I'm backing these and looking at how awesomely bright the balloons are and how fun it all was, I'm starting to debate if I should do it with a pattern. But there's that notebook paper, so I decided to trace him and do that. And then I'm going to ultimately decide to do his hat in that polka dot. And so, yeah. So, awesome birthday hop going on. Make sure you check out everybody who's down below while I'm cutting out all these items. And you will not regret it. There are so many good birthday layouts and celebration layouts, and just using the birthday cut files, like not even necessarily birthday layouts. They're awesome because mine isn't a birthday layout. And it's not just the design team, if you haven't noticed. We have a whole bunch of friends joining in for this hop, which is awesome. I think there are, let me count. Yeah, 24, almost 30 people joining in on this hop. So here I am playing around with that polka dot paper as a background, and I like it, but I'm like, it just doesn't, just wasn't hitting it for me. And I know it wasn't 12 by 12, so I'd have to do something else, but I just wasn't feeling it. So I'm going to back his hat really quick, and I decided just to do one pattern. His hat would be really cute too, to like do a bunch of different colors in each of the stripes. But I just did one pattern, and then just to make it look like the black stripes in his hat are part of the pattern. So doing that. I guess I could have cut some of this out to make this video a little bit shorter, but I figured I hadn't really showed a lot of me backing cut files, so I would do it. And I like to use my Nuvo Deluxe because it dries matte and not glossy. Sometimes you can see it, but it's actually pretty well hidden. So this is how I'm going to kind of layer out. And I like it popping, but it needs something. Yeah, tap, 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 go with the fingers. So I ultimately said, I'm sitting here playing, and I was grabbing my papers, and I really like the paper that I actually did the balloons in, and that yellow. I'm like, well, I could use those to accentuate it and make a two-sided border. And I was talking with Christy, who then helped me decide, yeah, I need something. So I'm going to do some mixed media. I didn't plan on it, but I'm doing some mixed media. I covered the thing in gesso, and I'm going to use a bunch of shimmers. I have You're the Zest, Tuscan Sun, and yoking, no yoking, I think, something like that. The yellows. So I decided to do some yellows because, yeah, bright, happy yellows. So I'm just kind of spritzing them, and I decide, ooh, that's too much. So I roll it off a little. It was a little too bright. And then I'm also going to bring in some other packaging technique, and do some oxides. And so I grabbed some bubble wrap because I thought might as well add some texture to the background. And I'm going to use, I believe, wild honey, squeezed lemonade, and then I use a green, old paper or something like that. It was that one might be old paper, but just to get a little bit of texture going on. And then scattered straw. I grabbed a bunch of them. I was like, where's all the yellows? Where's the yellow greens? Because I really like the kind of yellow green that's in the pattern paper in the triangles. It's a pretty color. But I put it down and then I'm dabbing it up and I'm like, ooh, yeah, this is going good. I'm really liking this. I'm going to add a little bit more scattered straw just to tone down that little bit of green. And after it dries, it tones down a little bit too. And then I'm going to add a little bit more Tuscan Sun and a little bit more no yoking. And I'm really liking it. It's very bright, but not like uber bright. It's just enough. And I have it kind of like coming up from behind the penguin and kind of rising up to the balloons. It was kind of the goal. And then I let it dry, and then I'm just going to splatter some black on there. So while that's this, oh, I did splatter some of the colors too. That doesn't show up as good because I left it wet. So then while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead then and bring some of that black in again and map my photo. I like to keep things consistent on my layout. If I can use a same pattern, I'm definitely one of those people, like, if I can use the same pattern in multiple places, I'm going to, because it brings like consistency and a flow. But also then if you only have enough to use one, then you do one of each and you just make like a collage of a ton of different colors. But yeah, if I can bring some colors in and create a consistency, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, so here's the black splatters, and then I'll set this aside to dry, and then we'll come back. And yeah, so what I'm going to do while it's drying is I'm going to actually glue the yellow to the pattern. And it's okay that there's chunks missing down in that corner, because that corner is going to be covered up by white and it's going to get trimmed off. So I'm going to make it so I have, yeah, like I said, a two-sided border of that like triangle pattern, the rainbow pattern paper, to bring that in as well and bring more color to the back of the layout, basically the base of the layout. And then I'm going to mat the white, yep, just with a tiny yellow border just to make it stand out even more. And that really makes a difference, I think, after putting the mixed media on and doing that. My paper was uber warped. I don't know if I just don't put enough gesso on or what's going on, but man, like, my paper warps no matter what I do. I did get it quite wet though, so. So now I'm going to trim it down 12 by 12 to what with the corner of the pattern paper. And then that will trim off some of the white and make it a full 12 by 12. And then you got all these gnarly things on the back. So then you washi tape them. Thank you, Sandy. You washi tape them so then they don't hook on to your other layouts when you're putting them in your sleeves. So yeah, fun thing. So I'm going to start arranging these guys and getting them glued down, figuring out where they need to go. I had this one little scrap of that paper left, so I decided to bring it in a little corner down there just to bring some color down to that corner by the penguin. I'm not going to make you watch all of this, but I'm going to back him with foam, and then I'm going to back some of the balloons with foam as well. It was really tedious watching me cut up all the foam and put it on, so I cut quite a chunk of it out. And once again, I'm sorry for the glare. I haven't figured out. There's a sweet spot. Like, if I put my layout, my photo on the sweet spot in the center of where my light is, then I don't get the glare, but it's not necessarily the center of where I'm filming, if that makes sense. So yeah. And then I'm going to use all liquid glue because we got all this mixed media and the gesso in the background. So things will actually stick. And actually I'm looking at it and there's edges because of the warping that are coming up. So I might have to stick it under a book or something. So I'm kind of putting the balloons down and I pulled it up, the cut file, because I really liked the way they were arranged. Now you could obviously rearrange them however you wanted, but I really liked the way they were arranged on the cut file. So I did it pretty much to the same as what the cut file showed. And then I moved just a couple around. So there you have it. There's my balloons. And so now I have my trusty little thickers guides that I got from Paper Issues recently. And I'm going to put my title down with these red foam Simple Stories stickers. I was short one eye, so I am going to use a 1. And I don't think it, you can tell really after. I mean, if you really look, you can tell that it's cut, but it's not a big deal. And I thought I was struggling trying to figure out what would be a great photo or what would be a great title. This is his kindergarten graduation. I have the balloons like rising. So I was like, you know what? And I will rise up. That to me, inspirational. I'm going to become big things. All the good things, right? So that's what I did. I do end up putting some foam behind some of the letters just because they're resting on some of the balloons that have foam. So not all of them, but just a couple of the letters have to have a little extra foam behind them just so they're not going to droop eventually. I'm not going to do any journaling on here because I have a bunch of photos. And actually, if you watched my Product Focus Friday, just this last Friday, I had a video, a process video of me doing some of his other photos from his little kindergarten graduation we had. So, yeah, so there will be more journaling on many other layouts. I think there's a couple more that I'll be doing of this event. Whenever I have big events like this, they deserve more than one page. So just going through and adding some of the word stickers and some of the tickets, but not much because the balloons are doing all the work for me, creating the design on this page. So I have a couple close-ups coming up, you guys, and then pictures of what the cut files look like. Everything will be linked down below, as well as all the amazing people that are hopping along with us today. So thank you again. Tune in next time for what I'm creating, and we appreciate you. And thanks for subscribing. And if you haven't already, please do. And yeah, happy birthday, Confessions of a Paper Addict. Bye.